morning, guys. This morning my tea mug means that I'm ready to talk to you, and I have one of my newer favorite teas now is the Tazo Zen. So I just woke up, and so this helps me to kind of perk up a little bit, so I'll be having this. So I'm going to talk to you today about the pros and cons of different methods that we've used over the years, and I think I'll start with charter school. So we're gonna head over to the office and we're gonna have a chat about the pros and cons, or at least reasons that we felt were pros and cons to charter school. So I got a user request to do a video on the pros and cons of the different methods that our family has used over the years. We have used everything. So you name it, we've used it, except for Thomas Jefferson education and just maybe a couple that we have not touched just because I'm not familiar with them. But I have learned to appreciate, because we've done so much, I've learned to appreciate the different pros that each of them offer, and also I have learned to distinguish the cons so that I know what to filter out and what to take and extract for my family and what to leave on the table. So I'm not fully Montessori, fully classical, fully Charlotte Mason, fully anything, but I love the different pieces of each of these different theories and methods that I can extract from and bring into my home to make my home what it needs to be for each season of our lives, for each of our kids and their different needs. So like I said, I've used it all. We've done interest-led learning, we've done online school, virtual school, charter school that's not virtual, and we've just done a lot of stuff. So I want to do some pros and cons of a few different ones, but on this video I'm going to focus mainly on online school. So if you're considering virtual school, know that there's different types of virtual schools to look for, and when I'm saying school, I'm not talking about educational outlet that services parents with online classes. I love those types of services and platforms, and we use those extensively in our home. We will take online classes, and I'll talk more about that later, but we'll take online classes and just like pick and choose a la carte the classes we want. That is not what I'm talking about on this video. So this video is about being enrolled in a public virtual school. So the school is chartered through the state, and it is considered a school, but it's virtual, right? So you have attendance, and your child has teachers, and you get textbooks from this entity, this school, and they do everything for you. So we have done this twice, and it has been a while since we've done this, because those of you who know, I am now in classical conversations, and so we have not turned back to that, and there's reasons why we're not doing virtual school anymore. So in this video I'll share why and the pros and cons. So if you're considering virtual, know that there's different types. If you're looking at the public virtual school, and I will name the two that we have familiarity with, it's K-12 and Connections Academy, those two. So we did K-12 in 2015, 15, no, I'm sorry, earlier. My daughter was, I believe, 12, so I think we did it in 2000 and okay, I'll say 2015. So she did K-12 for one semester, but at that time, because of its disorganization, we felt it was disorganized. We weren't syncing with it. They kept sending us math materials tandemly throughout the semester that weren't part of just a math textbook. We were getting pieces of a textbook throughout the semester, and it was just weird, okay? And mailing in schoolwork, and everything was like paper-based at the time, so it was just, we were online school, but still dealing with a lot of paperwork, so it was kind of messy. And so at the end of that semester, we switched over to Connections, which was significantly easier in that regard. However, both K-12 and Connections have pros and cons, and both of them, there are things I loved about K-12 that that I wish Connections had, and things that Connections had that I wish K-12 had. Either way, I am no longer ever doing, as far as I can say at this point of time in my life, we're never going to do, I believe, virtual school again if I can help it. As far as online, like full-time student virtual school, if I can help it, we won't go back to it. So pros, if you are looking to release yourself from all responsibility of grading and giving homework or giving schoolwork, teaching, then virtual school is great because it makes your student become like in charge of their education, and they have to be intrinsically motivated to show up for those required lessons that are live and you know, in a group, you know, with other students. So they have to show up and be physically present. Role is taken. All this is happening, and this is not going to happen if your student just decides to sleep in, right? So they get graded for their presence. Also, if you are in a place in your life where maybe you were sick, which I was that year, so it was a blessing, so to speak, because I didn't have to worry about my daughter learning something, at least, while I took a rest, while I had to go lay down and sleep. And you know, I was very anemic and very sick and I had a lot of issues going on, and I was in and out of hospitals that year. So online school in a way was a blessing to me because it took the load off of me in regards to teaching. I could not have done that with several students though, which that would not have been a blessing if I had like 3 or 4 kids enrolled in Connections. That would have been chaos. Just because there was a lot going on with the school and I had to keep up with what was going on, that still was work for me. Even though I wasn't teaching the courses and the subjects, it was still work keeping up with what my daughter was doing in the classes, because I'm not the type of parent that would just send my kid to the computer and not know what she's learning. So I was still going behind her, reading the lessons, making sure that she had done the schoolwork and checked everything off, turned things in. So it was still work. And I may as well have just assigned things to her on my own without all of the stress of going behind her and checking. But needless to say, I really didn't have to do a lot of that. I put a lot of the pressure on myself just because I can be a little type A at times. And she really was taking care of things. She really was doing her job, and she did what she was supposed to do. So she had that motivation at 12 years old. And then again, when she decided again, a couple of years later as a high school freshman, that she wanted to try online school to see if it would be different this time being a freshman in high school. So she did Connections Academy for a year, and we had, not a year, a semester. We pulled out. You can go back and watch a video where we were in Connections for about a semester, and I did like an interview with her, and it was kind of our exit interview because I kind of felt like we were leaving soon, and we did. Like about maybe a month or 2 after I filmed that video, we exited Connections, and it was not extremely graceful. It was more like I need to just pull her out, just withdraw. And it was met with some resistance because it wasn't an exact break in semesters. The weird thing about Connections is that their semester basis is like smack in the middle of January instead of December, where you would think the cutoff would be. So it makes it difficult for parents who want to withdraw in the middle of the semester to not have that nice easy break where they can get into another school for January, because their semester ended like I think the middle of January. So you're still dealing with, well, you can't really get your official transcript and record until then, so you may as well stay with us, kind of thing. And knowing my rights as a homeschooler, I was like, no, thank you. We'll figure out the whole transcript situation. We'll just get out now when it's convenient for us, not for you. So that's how we did that. But that's a con to look for in online schools. Look at their end and start dates. I think Connections was ending sometime in June or something. So if you want to have an earlier summer break, you need to look at when they start and when they begin. Look at a lot of things. Are the teachers responsive? So another con for us, so I've listed the pro. The pro was that it allows your student to be independent, right? It helps your student to get up and be motivated. It helps to take some of the pressure off of you if you really just don't want to be in charge of the classes. There are teachers that will do the work and the heavy lifting for you. Okay, so those are my pros. You don't have to grade anything. Okay, but the cons are that you don't have the privilege of picking any of your curriculum. You don't get to choose. It is handed to you. It is picked by the state. If you agree with the tenets of the curriculum, if you don't agree, it doesn't matter. That's what they're using, and that's what your child is using. Okay, so, and for some of you that could be a pro, because maybe you just don't want to choose. Maybe if somebody else chooses it and teaches it, it's okay. Again, you have to really look at on a teacher-to-teacher basis, but some online schools can have some really shady grading practices, so I would really pay attention to that. We have used, in addition to K-12 and Connections, we have also, through our homeschool charter, which is a different type of charter school, not a virtual, we have used and selected online courses through that school. And so some of the online courses we've used were handpicked from Brigham Young University, which I think it's connected to a specific denomination or something. I'm not sure, but our charter school actually paid for those courses, even though, well, I mean, they're I guess A through G accredited for the state of California, so we were able to take some of those classes during our homeschool last year, actually. That would have been my daughter's sophomore year. So she took a couple of classes through the Brigham Young University. Specifically, she started with math, hated the process of taking math through them, so we switched over to live online math, which we loved. But with BYU, we also took history, and we took, what did she take? Art. And again, just really pay attention to the interaction, because sometimes, depending on the school, you'll get excellent interactions. With BYU, it was hit or miss. Depending on the teacher. Some teachers were more responsive. Her French teacher was responsive. Some of her teachers weren't so responsive, as in art, where you just kind of go through the module online, and then when you get to the final exam, it's like, okay, so now I need to like mail in an art piece, and then you get it mailed back with, you know, a grade that you didn't expect, because you didn't know that you were what you were supposed to do. It wasn't very clear in the directions about what that instructor was looking for. And so you have to pay attention to things like that and really be your student's advocate while they're still learning the ropes and they're not in college yet. So help them to get through classes like that where it's kind of unfair, and you need to see, okay, how should this have been graded based on the requirements, and maybe have a teacher parent meeting or a teacher student meeting. Set that up between your student and the instructor so that they can clarify things for next time. The virtual schools like K-12 and Connections usually do have a lot of feedback between student and teacher. Everything that we've experienced, there was a lot of good communication. There were a lot of necessary classes. You have to be there. You have to be present at the live online classes or class connects, and that's usually 2-3 times a week, you know, that you have to be there. So that could be a con. If you want to go out with your kids on a field trip and your child has a class connect scheduled during that time, that could be problematic, because if they've already missed 2, then, you know, maybe, depending on the rule, maybe the rule is that they can't miss too many without it affecting their grade. So it can be very stifling, not having the freedom to get out of your house and do what you want to do, when you want to do, how you want to do it, because you're stuck in front of the computer. You have to take the class connects, you have to be in the live lessons and participate. They do record a lot of these, but you still have to be present the majority of the time for your grade to be a good one. So yeah, that can be a problem. And another con, again, is unresponsive teachers, or teachers that don't really communicate well enough to let students know what their requirements are for a specific assignment, and therefore when they get a grade back, it doesn't line up because they not sure why they didn't get the grade they were hoping to receive. And then, so those are things to look for. Some other online courses we've taken a la carte have been through Kirklick, because back in the day they used to have online classes. I don't think they offer them anymore, but we did take biology 9th grade through Kirklick. We purchased our Apologia curriculum, and we had an Apologia science teacher that taught biology using the Kirklick platform. And that was awesome. We had a great experience, and we liked it because, again, it's a la carte. It's not an actual physical online school that requires attendance and requires what curriculum you use and requires any of the stuff. So it just freed me and my daughter to do what we wanted to do and take our class that we paid for. So sometimes it's good to go ahead and pay out of pocket to have the freedom you need as a family than it is to take the free resources and be in, you know, put in a box with the online or virtual school that you've chosen. Now, just so that I'm fair to those of you who have chosen an online school for your students and who might be thinking about it and it might be a good fit for you, I personally know that my daughter has friends who she's met through the Connections Academy and through online school, because they do, they have meetups, and she's met friends through Connections like in town. So they meet together. They've had biology labs in town, and that was pretty cool to be able to meet people. And so meeting people helped her to just find that real connection there and really start making friends in her school. And some of those kids today are still enrolled in the school and are graduating with their diploma from Connections. I don't know anybody from K-12, so but we still have connections with Connections, in that my daughter still has friends from that school, and these kids are they're motivated, they're good students, they're A students, and they are graduating and they're going off to colleges in Southern California and different places after graduation. So it can work. It just really all depends on your family goals and what you're looking for, and also your student's personality and what's right for them. I don't think it's right for our family. I don't think I'll ever go back to it. I just don't see it happening for us, but they say never say never. But I just don't see that I'm attracted to that. And right now we're really super happy with what we're doing with classical. So, but that is my take on the pros and cons of virtual school. If you have any questions, let me know. I hope this has been helpful. I really feel like I've done a lot of kind of circling around and rambling, and I don't know that I've covered everything. There's always more I could cover, but those are the general pros and cons, I guess. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope this has been helpful. All right, thank you. Bye.